Here we are, green and green, back for the thick end of the card at Warwick Farm tomorrow, 2nd of August. And there's no 3-year-olds to be found in the last 3 races. It's pretty stodgy, Gord.
It's stodgy. I struggled with all races and are going to need to back multiple runners to make a profit.
Race 5 is in particular, it's a classic provincial race which has found its way onto the city scene. And our favourite is, well, a horse that's had limited goes at provincials actually. It's Johnny G, $4.20, $5 down there, number 10, Trust Me. And then we're $7.50 Bring a Secret, $8 Bright Future, $8.50 Young Huey, $12 Iron George, Centro Superior, $14 Nick on the Run, $15 Bogey, blah, 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 blah. How exciting is that? Look, Iron George will be seeking the lead here. He's back from a Saturday race where he settled one out, one back. The lead is his for the taking. Trust Me will posse up, Young Hewitt will posse up, Bright Future will be there, Bogey will be there, Centro Superior will be trying to slot in.
I'm very interested in the map, Mark.
Well, I've just given you the map.
I know, but I thought maybe Bright Future would try and make...
What's your interest in Bright Future?
No, I'm not interested in backing it, but I want to back Iron George if it gets to the lead as comfortably as you just implied then.
Well, it's comfortable is an interesting phrase. Look, I think he'll get there. He may have to do a little bit of work to get there. Bright Future is more of a 1400 metre horse. I would say that he doesn't have the 1200 metre speed, but he may well do his best under the urgings of Hieronymus, who will be keen to put himself into the fray. Why are you suggesting Iron George?
Because it's the one I want to back.
Why is that?
Because when it leads, it's a far superior horse.
Yeah, but not in town.
It comes out of Saturday grade where it took a forward position.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I am massively interested in horses that do that.
Yeah. Particularly in basically a provincial standard race, which this is. Do you have anything to offer about the favourite, Johnny G, who...
I do. I know that the people in the bush who, not just the people in the bush, but the people who bet in the bush, have always had a very high opinion of this horse. It did win at the provincials by a reasonable margin 2 starts back. It was my starting point, but after watching the replay, I don't think it's unlucky, as some people were mentioning to me. Looked like it had a bit of a chink there with pattern and style to me, but they're saying it's a really good horse. So take what you want out of that.
Or neutral?
Which it's not a horse that comes to town, and I want it to be favourite in taking what, you know, what is it?
Yeah,
$7-2.
$4.20. Yeah. Well, $7-2. You know $7-2, do you? How do you know that?
Well, just like I'm going to know Wednesday racing being on Thursday nights at Randwick is a fantastic thing.
Isn't that great? Okay. So, other than Iron George, is there anything else that you sort of like that piqued your interest?
I had a second look at so many horses here. Kangaroo I even had a look at, and I'm just like, Jesus, like, what am I doing? Like, Cockles is a provincial standard horse. It did beat it 2 starts back, so I have a second look at that. Bring a Secret is a horse that people thought was going to go to higher things than
Well,
this.
he won an early 2-year-old race in Canterbury, so that immediately puts him on the stage.
And finally got the wing on the board after the spell where it did beat a decent horse in Major Sharp, so... I don't know. It's had 27 starts for 5 wins, and I'm about to sort of mention, have they found the key to this horse? You know.
So what about the Warwick Farm race that is the lead up, where Trust Me and Nick on the Run come from?
I think that's a poor...
Akasaki won the race.
I think that is a really poor race. Is it the one that I Can Rock came second in as well?
Yeah. There's not much chop to it, is there? And I think Nick on the Run is telling you that.
Yeah. Totally agree with you. The thing with Trust Me is that it is running quite consistently well its last 4 or 5 starts. So it has to be a decent chance. You still got T Clark on board, you got Barrier 9, you got a couple of positives there, but I was more interested in finding something that mapped well, that was at a price where, you know me, I like to find the best horse in the race, and that's my.
Well, what is the best horse in this race?
Well, see, I don't know, so I had to go for.
It's not obvious, is it?
Yeah, so I had to go for what's going to map well, what has a couple of ticks, and definitely Iron George does.
Yeah, because this is a fug, this race. It's dead set full of horses that aren't going to progress any further than this.
No, you see, even Iron George, like, not its last start, but the start before. I know it was Wednesday Metropolitan, but that was a very strong Wednesday Metropolitan race.
Yeah, look, it worked hard first up, it worked hard second up, and then it took up a forward position in a Saturday race third up. So, you know, I get where you're coming from, and I wanted to be interested in Trust Me because he's a 4-year-old. And I think there's only 2 4-year-olds, Young Hewitt and Trust Me, as in they've just turned 4, they're 3-year-olds. But unfortunately, Nick on the Run has blown Trust Me's cover.
Yeah, and Young Hewitt, you know, was one of mine that I was looking for something.
Yeah, well, look, he was impressive at Nowra and just couldn't keep up at Canterbury.
Yeah.
Race 6, a mile race, 17 set down, 14 will go round. And $4.20, the recently turned 4-year-old number 3 Thard. $7 number 1 Reby the Red. $5.50 is Estic Raj, who raced against Reby the Red the other day. $9 Metallic Crown, $10 Nat King Sue. Next in the market would be $15 Manhattan Sun. Try $18 Sir Barb, $19 Alfred the Great, then we're out to $21 in the next bracket. It's a high, wide, deep race. And as far as the map is concerned, Reby the Red is back in distance, but we'll push forward from his gate 1. He's a Warwick Farm specialist. Nat King Sue will be right on speed. Ballius, ditto. Metallic Crown has to go forward from his wide gate, and Alfred the Great and Dylan's Romance, should he run, will be also on speed. Once again, you know, where do you start here?
Okay, well, you start with went forward in a Saturday grade race, which is number 1, and then
but that was 2,000 metres.
Yeah, and then you pen it.
Oh, why are we penning it?
Barrier 1 might have to try too hard to lead, and
but loves Warwick Farm 1600.
Has terrible win ratio.
What, you don't like 3 wins from 20 odd starts?
28 starts.
What's wrong with that?
So, well, that's why you specialise in the distance races, Mark, because it's
Jesus,
not
you're
one
so
of mine.
picky.
I am. I reckon I probably contradict myself sometimes because, you know, it's a combination between these particular things that your database will spit out and your feel for a particular horse as well.
Yeah.
So
there must be horses that have 20 odd starts, that have 3 wins, that you're not actually aware of that when you look at them and you get excited by them, and then you see their the record.
Generally, that would be a horse that this preparation, and it'd have to be multiple runs in the current preparation, had impressed me. So like it was a new horse.
Yeah, it's like you didn't realise that it actually had that many runs.
Yeah. Thud definitely interests me. You know, I'm massive on you go away, you come back.
Yeah, but what about the fact that it's references the Vega race? Like, it's like, okay, you came back in a good race, but here's the juxtaposition.
Totally agree with you. That's why normally it'd be something that I'd stamp as a definite bet on the program, but I didn't. I think you clearly have to have it on top. But am I interested in backing it? I don't think so. Maybe. I haven't decided yet.
Yep.
The other ones that I had a look at were Nat King Sue, which has been up for a goddamn eternity.
It's only had a few runs from Jason Coyle, and it's only had a couple of runs with the blinkers back on, which actually indicates why it's turned a bit of a corner.
turned a massive corner, and if you notice, that Petrosian race is good enough to win this. I know it was only over 1,300 metres.
And how the hell did it run third the other day? It was going to run ninth.
Yeah.
Which is a slur against the race the other day, but it's a positive for this horse.
Yeah, and you went from T. Clark, where second to Petrosian, to unlucky with King on board, and now back to T. Clark. It's a horse I'm definitely interested in and isn't found by the market yet again.
Yeah.
What was it? Sir Barb didn't look comfortable at the back of the field to me the other day.
Slowly run race the other day. You'll get you'll get more pace on up front here. It'll be a more evenly run race for him.
Probably would have said that with a little bit more confidence if Colette was riding for his girlfriend.
What, Tony Collette? Is she riding?
How do you say it then?
Oh, you mean Glenn Pollitt or Jason Collett?
Jesus. Oh, are we doing rhyming slang these days on the show, are we? Yeah, well, I mean, if you've noticed, Collett just rides all Claire Cunningham horses.
Why is that?
Well, because they're girlfriend and boyfriend. And he's actually riding Alfred the Great, which I don't have a big opinion of, so...
No, Alfred the Great's a journeyman, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's there. He whacks away, but he's...
You go to the picnics? That's it.
That's unfair.
That's it.
That's unfair.
I'm having to go at the Bong Bong Cup, am I?
Bong Bong is the creme de la creme of the picnics.
Yeah, no, I will be having something on it because it's long odds, so I won't lose if it wins the race. But the two possible bets in the race, I'm not even sure whether I'll bet in the race, are Thard and Nat King Sue.
Yeah, I found this an impossible race, and I ended up with number 10 Trenchant, who just had the one run back from a long spell, and second up in a Saturday to Wednesday, Josh Parr, tongue tie off. Didn't do a great deal first up, but and look, marked him double figures, but he's well and truly double figures. He's $21. So that race, honestly,
that actually points to the way we're actually trying to think about this race, doesn't it? You're finding John.
Oh my God! You know, like Estiquage is the second pick in the race, and he's had so many distance runs in a row. Now he comes back to 1600. It's impossible to see him being competitive from gate 3. He's like going to be rails mid back, and how does he sprint from there? I don't know. The nightcap. And 19 down. Not sure. Oh, sorry. This 16. No, there's 16 to go round. Yeah. And the favourite is number 9, Fortensky. Waller, Schofield, but back in distance. $6 stablemate Tivoli Street. $8. Sorry, I should mention $4.40 down the bottom Maracaibo. It's like they've just put that price there. Yeah. Not caring. $8 Abaha, number 1. $8 Sonic Swish, another Waller horse. $10 Street Pursuit, which is gay and likely to seek the lead. And $13 Nat King Sue, who's obviously engaged in the penultimate. $16 Know How. $19 Awesome Sam. $19 Conachi. Another U-Butte race. As I mentioned, Street Pursuit is one to seek the lead here. And Conachi is in attendance. Ella Walking not too far away. Other than that, Nat King Sue, should he run here, he's coming back in distance. Darts Away I have on the speed, but he was ridden off the speed in his recent wins. Road to Shangri-La, Abaha, Fortensky, Awesome Sam, Art of Excellence. There's not a lot of speed there. Certainly Street Pursuit and Conachi are right up there. Right, where do we start here, Gord?
I'm definitely betting in the race.
Right, because...
Why are you betting? I love it when a horse that stable and people have an opinion of, but hasn't won yet, actually gets a win on the board. Tivoli Street. It's what odds did you say it was?
$6.
Okay, so it's reasonable form, but it doesn't have to beat much here.
No, there's not a lot of form here.
Like, it came second to Launch Code. Star and Monsoon came third.
Oh, Launch Code is
First
a provincial horse. What are you talking about? He won at Wyong the other day.
Yeah, it was
Star and Monsoon. Star and Monsoon, he hasn't even won a race.
He ran in a Saturday race, Mark, and was backed by a very smart operator called Kingsley Bartholomew. I think it can springboard off that. I'm going to be betting. It won course and distance last start.
Yeah, which is important.
Yeah, and Tommy Berry. It went from G. Buckley to Tommy Berry.
Well, that
which
was
is
a
why we
positive,
backed it. Which is why we backed it. But I think, look, it's a suspicion that I think it can springboard off that and win this race. The other ones I sort of had another look at were, I even had a look at the one that won at Acton last start, Dart Away, because
he did dart away.
Well, he did dart away, and its last two runs and wins were pretty impressive, but I'd suggest maybe that he's a dirt horse. So
Has won a highway race.
yeah, had to be against that. I know Glenn had an opinion of number 2 Sonic Swish, which did run in the Saturday Metropolitan race, but it didn't do enough for my liking. But has to be some sort of a chance.
Yeah, look, he has won at Warwick Farm, but at 1200, I would, I'm not happy about him at 1400.
Okay. What else did I have a look at? Not much. There was just so little to look at. You know when this is
because Street Pursuit is a horse we talked about on the midweek preview many weeks ago. Failed at the 1550 and then went back to 1350 at Wyong and couldn't factor, and then found a 1300 metre race at Hawkesbury where he could lead all the way. He's the leader here.
No, I just can't get over Helensburgh Ham.
Yeah, tailed him.
Yeah.
And then he, dropped way down in grade to Hawkesbury.
Right. Well, it's a bit like that, isn't it? Look, it's a pen job for me, but I'm jumping the shadows in this race. The only one that I think could be the best horse in the race by a country now, finally has the win on the board, did win course and distance last start, is Tivoli Street. I'm getting $6 to find out. I'm happy to have that bet.
Yeah. Look, there's bits and pieces to look at, but it's not very exciting. Number 1, Abahar, has a sequence of Sydney runs, all in a past life. Recently broke through up in Queensland, is on her way back home. You mentioned Tivoli Street. Sonic Swish is placed, but I'm just a little bit concerned about the 1400 metres. And other than that, look, Kanachi is a Warwick Farm horse. I know he's a wet tracker, but he's got Karen McAvoy, and he's back from a sequence of Saturday runs. You could do worse. But having said that, that's not a great recommendation. Let's just pen the back half of the card. I know that you'll be... I'm
going to be playing very heavily early on.
Yeah. So, Gord, is race 2 where you're heading?
Should I? Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I'm obviously keen on race 2, number 1. I'm pretty keen on betting in the first race, to be honest, as well. I'm going to back both horses, number 4, I'm a Legend, and number 6, Piracy.
Yep.
They're my...
Yep. And other than that, it's grind your way out.
I think it's very, very grindy kind of a day, isn't it? Yeah.
It is.
What about you? What are you going for?
Look, race 2, number 1, Alizé, is the pin-up girl for the program. She represents the fecund aspect of midweek racing in August.
Fecund, does that mean shit?
No, that's fecal. That's fecund is like fertile. It's like a spring forth. It's like full of like
so it's been...
promise. It's full of yeah. So in August we're in love with our 3-year-old racing, and race 2, number 1, is where we're heading tomorrow. Thanks for watching tonight. Gordon and I will be back for a preview of Randwick on Saturday.
We'll get a guest too.
Who have you got in mind?
Yeah, we'll get a guest.
Okay, that's great. So look forward to that Friday preview. Other than that, Mounting Yard Mail on Saturday. Don't forget to sign up. I believe that we've got a bit of a competitor, Gord, that Just Racing has put M Sheen head-to-head with G Pollitt. Let's see how that goes.
Well, that's very interesting. No comment.
And don't forget that also the Punters, it's not the Punters Collective, it's the Punters Academy featuring John Walter and Paul Daly has also made its debut today, and that may be well worth a look.
Jesus, all this spruiking we're doing for these mobs. Seriously?
Oh, they'll all look after us, Gord.
Oh, I'm sure they will. That's been your attitude for 7 years. How's it going for you?
It's going great. Making lots of money.
See you guys.